All right, so I just finished my live and I wanted to take a few minutes and share some of that on here because sometimes these clips are a little easier to manage. But anyway, I was listening to a little TikTok and one inspirational speaker on there, I think his name was Rohn, and he had talked about looking at where you are, what you're doing, your habits, your behaviors, and then try to project out for 5 years. So if you're doing these same habits, where are you going to be in 5 years? And then he said this: you're going to reach a future, and it will either be designed or it will be undesigned. And that hit me. It could be designed, it could be undesigned, and I'm guilty of both at times. You know, sometimes the things I do are just shoot from the hip, not as clear of a goal, and it's a very undesigned destination. Sometimes it's the opposite though. Sometimes I do tend to perform well, and I do have goals in mind that I try to aim towards and put effort to making progress in those goals. So sometimes I'm going towards that designed future. And here's the thought that I kind of formulated as I did a little meditation this morning. So when I'm thinking about my habits and goals and my designed or my undesigned future, I think here's what we can look at. When you look at me or you or anybody else, think about, where do you spend your time? Where do you spend your money? And start asking why. Okay, pretty quickly you're going to find the priorities. Okay, when you see the priorities, you start to see the goals. If you see somebody who's constantly, eating salads and running and drinking a lot of water, well, you can tell their priority is health. Okay, if you see somebody who's sitting on the couch with a bag of chips and a beer 5 days a week, as football is blown up into a week-long event pretty much, well, then that changes some things. So now you see the priorities, you see the goals, and maybe the guy on the couch, he wants to be healthy, but it's not his priority. So I want you to think about that. Tell me what it is for you. Pay attention to your time, pay attention to where you're spending your money, and start asking why. Why do I do this? Why do I do that? Keep asking why, and you will get to the bottom. So that's it for today. Now let's go and let's grow.